There are lots of things that people do tell you about motorcycles. Everyone knows it's an expensive hobby. Everyone knows the importance of riding gear, so I'm not gonna be here like, what's up, squids? Here's things that nobody tells you about riding a motorcycle. First up is gear. That's not what I'm gonna say today. If you search the words motorcycle new rider on any search engine or social forum, from Bing to LinkedIn, you'll see the people talking about ACAP, but not me. Not today. We're gonna do something a little more esoteric than that. The first thing no one tells you about riding a motorcycle is just how toxic the relationship with your bike can be. What do I mean by that? I mean, you'll have extreme highs and extreme lows. During a good ride with perfect weather and no traffic, you'll feel like the happiest person alive. You'll ride for 100 miles, never hit a red light. You'll feel like you finally understand what it means to reach peak nirvana. Whereas other times, you'll swear you never want to ride again. You'll be out a ways from home, it'll be blazing hot or blisteringly cold, and there'll be some unforeseen social event or construction project that leaves you in deadlocked traffic for an hour. Your cardo runs out of batteries, you'll be dangerously low on fuel, desperate to find the nearest gas station as soon as possible. Your leg starts cramping, you'll be conceptualizing the Facebook Marketplace listing you're gonna make for your bike while you idle in traffic, choking on exhaust fumes from diesel trucks surrounding you. But of course, these moments are temporary, and the memory of the pain fades with time. It's what we in the biz call level 3 fun. Even when you're most in love with motorcycles as you can be, there will still be pain. You'll hear a bunch of bikes ripped by your workplace on the first warm afternoon in spring, and you'll think about your motorcycle being cuckolded in the garage while you take your car to work every day. The FOMO and guilt that comes from not riding on a nice day is real. At the end of the day, motorcycling has a way of toying with your emotions, and that's not even considering when something will eventually break or go wrong with your bike. Ultimately, the low points are eclipsed by the moments of joy or happiness, but before you start riding, prepare yourself for the emotional battery that comes from owning a motorcycle. Additionally, as a rider, you will develop certain instincts that mustn't be ignored. Think of it as a motorcycling sixth sense. There will be times where you wake up in the morning and you just don't really feel like riding. The weather will be super pleasant, so you feel kind of guilty about driving to work instead of taking the bike, but you stuff those feelings deep down where they can hide amongst your other suppressed trauma. Like the time you got pantsed by Connor, the captain of the middle school basketball team, just as you were about to talk to Jessica about the dance, and all of her popular friends were there, and now you have zipped off cargo pants around your ankles, and everyone's pointing and laughing and laughing and laughing, and then you sprint to the nurse's office and tell her you have a tummy ache, and she takes your temperature and she says, 98.6, you seem fine to me, and then you say, no, my stomach really hurts, I have to go home. So she calls your mom, who has to leave early from work to pick you up, and she says, you're being awfully quiet, is everything okay? And you say, I have a stomach ache, I told you that. And she looks at you in the back seat in the rearview mirror, smirks and says, it's not easy being 13, is it? And you lay on your bed with your face down in your pillow until dinner time, and you come out of your room and your parents are like, feeling better? We made a plate for you. And I say, yeah, I could eat. So right where that memory lives and the feeling of guilt and all that from not riding your motorcycle on a nice day, it's all the same feeling basically. But ultimately, you realize it's a good thing that you trusted your instincts and chose not to ride, because on your commute, there was a 40-car pileup on the expressway that you could have very well been involved with had you been on your bike. Ask any experienced rider, and they will have some story about getting a bad feeling and then choosing to ride anyway, only to end up either crashing or having a close call or getting a flat tire or some other consequence. Virtually every time I have crashed on track in the last 6 years or so, literally that morning I had a bad feeling before it happened. I don't know if it's causation or correlation, but I do know that the motorcycling sixth sense is real. So when you ride and have those unsettled feelings that seem to come out of nowhere, trust your instincts and know that it's okay to let the bike rest up in the garage. There's always gonna be another day to ride. Riding a motorcycle will heighten your other senses as well. When you spend a lot of time in the saddle, you'll realize how much more physically in tune with the environment you become. You'll smell smells you haven't smelled since childhood. Don't worry, I won't recant any more traumatic experiences. That's a once per episode kind of thing here. Riding on a motorcycle, you'll smell the festering scent of roadkill on a hot summer day. You'll smell the freshly bloomed cherry blossoms in spring. You'll smell garlic bread. I feel like anytime you ride within a half mile of any sort of downtown area, you kind of just always smell garlic bread. I don't know what that's about, but it is real. Drop a G in the comments section if you do smell garlic bread all the time when you ride in downtown areas. Or pizza. I smell pizza all the time in Austin. You'll be more sensitive to changes in temperature. That seems like common sense, but it's not something you'll fully experience until you ride, where even a 5-degree change in temperature as you increase in elevation or ride past a body of water is impactful. Similarly, if you've driven on the same road in your car countless times, when you ride the same road on your bike, you'll notice so many different things that you previously just were numb to while passively driving. Riding a motorcycle really heightens your sense of awareness and puts you more in touch with the environment. This can often lead to a greater sense of appreciation for where you live or ride. Not very often people pay much attention or consideration to the roads where they live and drive their cars, but every motorcyclist has their favorite roads to ride on. Not just due to the amount of twisty curves, but the overall experience that relates to the sensations experienced along the way. Riding a bike creates a more intimate relationship with your environment and can lead to newfound appreciations of the landscape you might have otherwise taken for granted. And if you're lucky enough to live somewhere very scenic, well, riding a motorcycle is about to make your life a whole lot better. If you're getting into riding, you'll quickly realize just how few people care about motorcycles. Seriously, you'd be better off learning to juggle or something if you wanted to get validation or even feigned interest from other people. Of course, other motorcyclists care about bikes and love talking about bikes, but most people you know could not care less. Or even worse, they'll have some snarky comment about how dangerous they are. But at the same time, you'll make many friends with older dudes. The rider demographic in America skews older already, so maybe you'll end up riding with a bunch of geezers on the regular, or maybe you'll have pleasant conversations with the sage-old dual sports savant at the gas station. If you're new to riding, I can almost guarantee the first stranger who will comment on your bike will be an older guy. And I think any experienced rider can attest to this. No matter what bike you ride, some guy in his 50s or 60s is gonna say that he had that bike, a friend of his had that bike, or he's thinking about buying that bike. But besides from these friendly gentlemen, you may be surprised at how few other people have any interest in motorcycling. You tell someone you ride motorcycles, and half the time they act like you said something more like, "I'm really into crocheting." Honestly, you'd probably get a more excitable reaction if you told someone you're into crocheting or tabletop gaming or cryptocurrency or sports betting. And honestly, if you want the attention of women, literally just get a puppy. It's way easier. Now, I did want to shout out that if you want to win a free motorcycle, we are giving it away on yammynoob.co. The giveaway for the Street Triple RS is wrapping up. This spicy, yellow, beautiful triple-cylinder motorcycle is going to be up for grabs at the end of February. And then in 2025, we are launching a new giveaway bike every single month. We already have the next one in hand. It's going to be pretty sweet. It's all a bunch of cool new bikes. You're not going to want to miss it. Sign up as a member today. You'll get access to our Discord server, automatic entries to win every single month. You can stack up and assign to each giveaway. So if you become a member right now, you're going to be able to earn your entries for all the bikes we're giving away this year. Don't miss it. Head over to yammynoob.co, become a member today, or pick up some merch and support the show. If you ride a motorcycle where lane splitting is permitted, it will irreversibly warp your concept of travel. The amount of time that can be saved by splitting between cars in stopped or slowed moving traffic makes you feel invincible on your motorcycle. I'm sure there are some people who ride cheap, economical bikes in California solely to have their commute time cut in half. Utilitarian riders like this may very well not actually even like motorcycles that much in terms of recreation and literally just ride them because they've seen beyond the curtain by lane splitting. It's like taking the commuting red pill. I have this little game I play sometimes where I use Google Maps to figure out where my destination is going to be and how long it's going to take me to get there, and then I ride my motorcycle to see how much time I can beat it by simply by lane splitting and riding my bike. It's usually at least 10 to 15 minutes, which is pretty sweet. If you live in a very dense urban area that sees ungodly rush hour traffic, being able to lane split can save you countless hours of your life every year. Hours you can spend on riding for fun, installing carbon fiber parts, chatting online with other riding dudes, or watching female rider thirst traps on TikTok. Even if you don't live in an area where lane splitting is permitted, motorcycling can often be a bit of a faster way to get around. Motorcycles are faster, smaller, and able to navigate through traffic more easily than a big bloated four-wheeled car. People will talk about how fast motorcycles are or how fun they are, but it's less commonly discussed with how much easier or enjoyable they can make everyday commuting, especially if you're able to split or filter lanes. You might be under the assumption that when riding a motorcycle, your greatest enemy on the road will be the Nissan Altima. Now, while the Altima ranks near the top, the true enemy of the motorcyclist are bugs or other airborne debris. If you've never had a hornet get sucked down your riding jacket, then you're not a real rider yet. It is very much a rite of passage to have a pleasant ride interrupted by a vengeful insect. Or what might even be worse is the spider that decided to snooze in your helmet while it was being stored in your garage, and then it decided it didn't want to wake up until you're going 60 miles per hour on the road. Then you see it crawl in the inside of your visor just a few inches from your face. You will develop a newfound respect for the half-helmet Harley riders when June bug splatters on your visor with enough force to knock your head back a few inches. Can you imagine what it would feel like if you had nothing but a brain bucket and some white Oakleys to protect your face from massive bugs like that? That cannot be a pleasant experience. Also, just thinking about it, Harley riders probably eat way more bugs than the vast majority of us. They're already way ahead on the World Economic Forum's recommendation to start eating bugs. It's not unheard of for lit cigarette butts to end up down your jacket as well. You might think it's a bee at first until you realize that it's not buzzing around but falling deeper and deeper down your shirt until it gets stuck where your shirt tucks into your waistband, burning your flesh the whole time. It's not very fun. Keeping your jacket zipped up all the way, using some sort of neck gaiter goes a very long way in keeping harmful insects and items out of your shirt, whether they're sentient or not. Even big swarms of gnats can leave your helmet, jacket, and windscreen plastered in insect goo that when dried has the same tensile strength as super glue. If you're gonna ride a motorcycle, prepare to be attacked by airborne hazards and bugs. Lastly, something that's not often discussed is how learning to ride a bike can actually make you substantially better as a car driver as well. First and foremost, your situational awareness will go through the roof. When riding a motorcycle, being constantly aware of your surroundings and the vehicles you share the road with is huge. By having experience riding a motorcycle, you can even be a better defensive driver who's able to anticipate hazards, predict the behavior of other vehicles, and avoid the dangers of the road. You'll also learn to understand the limits of traction and grip in your tires. Motorcycles are constantly pushing the grip of the tires. They have to lean over from side to side to complete turns. And while that's not pertinent to everyday car driving, if you find yourself in a situation where you have to drive in snow or ice, especially on curvy roads, understanding how to accelerate and brake smoothly to avoid traction can give you a serious advantage when driving in tough conditions. Honestly, these days when I drive my truck, it kind of feels like I'm just playing everything on easy mode compared to riding a bike. It is just way simpler to drive a car. It's not hard at all. Overall, being a motorcycle rider will make you a more engaged driver. Motorcycling requires way more control, balance, finesse, and understanding to safely operate. And many of those skills can translate into some capacity in driving a car. Skills that are usually beyond the scope of the standard driver training courses that most American teens complete. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and I will catch you all later. Make sure you check out that Street Triple RS giveaway on yammynoob.com and become a member and support the show today. Thank you to everyone who supports what we do here. I really do appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one. Fact: Victorians ate arsenic to make their complexion paler. Goodbye.
All right, everybody, this video is over. There's no more to watch on this beautiful video between me and you, but this Triumph Street Triple 765 RS is available on yammynoob.co as a giveaway bike. Hit that link while you're waiting for the next video to load, become a member. It'll take you as easy as 1, 2, 3, and then you're signed up to win. How cool is that? Papa Yam's giving away 54 bikes. You could be the next one.